There's a phenomenon that refuses to stay buried. It appears in dozens of towns, across decades, always following the same blueprint. Children standing in silence. Black eyes. No reflection. No explanation. Just a knock at the door, and the unmistakable feeling that opening it would be a mistake you'd never recover from. These aren't fairy tales or internet creepypasta. These are testimonies. Documented. Consistent. Specific. And disturbingly repetitive in their structure, as if whoever, or whatever, is behind them is following a script we were never meant to read. Tonight, I'm walking you through 7 encounters with the black-eyed kids. 7 people who opened the door, or came close. 7 accounts that share one disturbing constant: after the encounter, something inside them changed. Something they can't name. Something that still watches them. This is real-world horror. No monsters. No demons. Just children who shouldn't exist, asking to come inside. If you're drawn to slow-burn horror rooted in real encounters, the kind that doesn't rely on jump scares, but leaves something behind, subscribe to the Dark Index and turn on notifications. Because some stories aren't meant to be told out loud, and the ones that are, tend to follow you. Let's begin. It was April of 2019. I was living alone in a rental house in southern Oregon, just outside Medford. Quiet neighborhood. Older homes. The kind of street where people kept to themselves but still waved if they saw you pulling out trash bins. I liked it that way. No drama. No noise. Just me and the sound of wind scraping through pine trees at night. I worked the second shift at a packaging warehouse, so my schedule was flipped. I'd get home around 10:30 p.m., shower, eat something microwaved, and stay up until 2 or 3 in the morning watching old crime documentaries. It was routine. Predictable. Safe. That night, I was on my couch with the TV on low volume. Some show about unsolved disappearances in the Midwest. I wasn't really watching, it was more like background noise while I scrolled through my phone. The house was locked. Porch light off. Curtains drawn. Then I heard it. A knock. Not aggressive. Not frantic. Just 3 slow, deliberate taps on the front door. Calm. Almost polite. I froze. My first thought was that maybe a neighbor needed something. A car issue. A phone charger. But it was nearly midnight. And I didn't know my neighbors well enough for them to knock that late. I muted the TV. Listened. Nothing. I stood up slowly, phone still in hand, and walked toward the door. I didn't turn on the porch light. I don't know why. Maybe I wanted to see who it was first without being seen. Maybe some instinct told me not to. I looked through the peephole. 2 kids. Standing side by side. Maybe 10 or 11 years old. A boy and a girl. Both wearing dark hoodies. Hands at their sides. Completely still. They weren't looking at each other. They weren't fidgeting. They were just standing there. Facing the door. Waiting. My chest tightened. I didn't open it. Something about the way they stood felt wrong. Too still. Too patient. Like they'd been there longer than I realized. I backed away from the door and went to the living room window, peeking through a gap in the curtain. From that angle, I could see them more clearly under the dim streetlight across the road. The girl's face was pale. Expressionless. The boy's head was tilted slightly, like he was listening for movement inside the house. And then, I swear to God, they both turned their heads toward the window at the exact same time. Not fast. Not suddenly. Just a slow, synchronized rotation, like they knew exactly where I was standing. I stepped back. My heart was hammering. I couldn't see their eyes from that distance, but the way they moved made my skin crawl. Another knock. Same rhythm. 3 taps. Slow. Deliberate. I grabbed my phone and opened the camera app, zooming in through the window. My hands were shaking, but I managed to get a clear view of their faces. That's when I saw it. Their eyes. Completely black. No whites. No pupils. Just solid, reflectionless black, like someone had filled their sockets with ink. I backed up so fast I nearly tripped over the coffee table. My mind was racing. Were they wearing contacts? Was this some kind of prank? But no kid pulls a prank at midnight in the middle of a weekday. And no kid stands still for that long. I didn't know what to do. Part of me wanted to call the police, but what would I even say? There are 2 kids at my door and their eyes look weird. They'd think I was drunk or paranoid. I stood there in the dark, phone clutched in my hand, waiting for them to leave. They didn't. Minutes passed. 5. Maybe 10. I couldn't tell anymore. Time felt stretched. Wrong. Then I heard a voice. Quiet. Flat. Coming from the other side of the door. We need to come inside. Not, can we come in, or, please help us. Just a statement. Emotionless. Matter of fact. We need to come inside. I didn't respond. I didn't move. I barely breathed. Silence. Then the girl's voice. Same tone. Same flatness. We won't hurt you. We just need to come in. Every instinct in my body screamed not to answer. Not to engage. Not to acknowledge them at all. I stayed frozen in place, staring at the door, waiting for something to happen. A louder knock. A scream. Anything. But nothing came. After what felt like an eternity, I crept back to the window and looked out again. They were gone. No footsteps. No movement. Just gone. I checked every window in the house. Locked the bedroom door. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I went outside and checked the porch. No footprints. No dirt. No sign anyone had been there. But there was something else. On the doorframe, just above the handle, there were 3 small scratches in the wood. Fresh. Thin. Perfectly parallel. Like someone, or something, had dragged their nails down the frame. I moved out 2 weeks later. And I've never answered a knock after dark since. This happened in the fall of 2016. I was driving cross-country from Pennsylvania to Colorado for a job relocation. Long, empty highways. Gas stations stop every few hours. The kind of trip where you lose track of time and just follow the GPS. It was around 9 p.m. when I pulled into a gas station somewhere in rural Kansas. Middle of nowhere. 1 pump. Flickering fluorescent lights. The kind of place that felt stuck in 1987. I filled up the tank and went inside to grab a coffee and use the bathroom. The clerk was an older guy, maybe 60, with a thick mustache and a flannel shirt. He nodded at me but didn't say anything. I paid cash, grabbed my coffee, and headed back to the car. That's when I saw them. 2 boys. Standing near the edge of the parking lot, just outside the reach of the overhead lights. Maybe 12 years old. Both wearing jeans and dark jackets. Hands in their pockets. Staring directly at me. I stopped. Something about the way they stood felt off. Too still. Too focused. One of them stepped forward. "We need a ride." His voice was flat. No emotion. No urgency. Just a statement. I shook my head. "Sorry, man. Can't help you." I started walking toward my car, but the other boy moved to block my path. "We need a ride," he repeated. Same tone. Same flatness. I looked at him more closely now. His face was pale. Almost gray in the dim light. And his eyes. Jesus. His eyes were completely black. Not dark brown. Not shadowed. Black. Solid black. No reflection from the overhead lights. Nothing. My stomach dropped. I said no, I muttered, stepping around him and unlocking my car. The first boy moved closer. Too close. "We won't hurt you. We just need a ride." I yanked the car door open and got inside, slamming it shut and locking it immediately. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely get the key in the ignition. They didn't move. They just stood there, staring at me through the windshield. Faces blank. Eyes empty. I started the engine and threw the car into reverse, but as I backed up, one of them stepped directly in front of the car. Not in a panic. Not trying to stop me. Just standing there. Waiting. I slammed the brakes. My heart was pounding. I didn't want to hit him, but I also didn't want to stay there another second. He didn't move. For a moment, we just stared at each other through the windshield. His face was inches from the glass. Those black eyes locked onto mine. Then he smiled. Not a friendly smile. Not a kid smile. A slow, deliberate stretch of his lips. Mechanical. Wrong. I hit the gas and swerved around him, tires squealing as I tore out of that parking lot and back onto the highway. I didn't stop driving for 3 hours. When I finally pulled over at another gas station, this one busy, well-lit, full of people, I checked my rearview mirror obsessively, half expecting to see them standing in the darkness behind me. But they weren't there. I've driven cross-country twice since then. I've never stopped at that gas station again. And I've never forgotten that smile. I was 23 when this happened. Living in a shitty studio apartment in Detroit, 3rd floor of an old building that smelled like mildew and cigarette smoke. The kind of place where the elevator only worked half the time and your neighbors played music at 2 a.m. without apology. I worked nights as a bartender, so I'd usually get home around 3 or 4 in the morning. The building was always quiet by then. Just the hum of the vending machine on the 2nd floor and the occasional creak of pipes in the walls. One night in late November, I came home around 3:30. Exhausted. Cold. Ready to collapse into bed. I took the stairs, didn't trust the elevator that late, and pushed open the door to the 3rd floor hallway. And that's when I saw her. A little girl. Standing at the far end of the hall, just outside the exit door. Maybe 8 years old. Long dark hair. Wearing a white dress that looked too thin for the weather. She was facing away from me, staring at the door like she was waiting for someone to open it. I stopped. My first thought was, where the hell are her parents? "Hey," I called out. "You okay?" She didn't respond. Didn't turn around. Just stood there, completely still. I walked closer, slowly, unsure if I should call someone or just knock on a few doors to see if anyone was missing a kid. "Are you lost?" I asked, softer this time. Still nothing. I was about 10 feet away when she finally turned around. Her face was pale. Too pale. Like she hadn't seen sunlight in months. And her eyes. God. Her eyes were black. Completely, impossibly black. I froze. She tilted her head slightly, studying me. "I need to come inside," she said. Her voice was quiet. Flat. Emotionless. "Inside where?" I asked, my voice shaking. She pointed at my apartment door. "I need to come inside." My stomach twisted. "No," I said. "You need to go home." She didn't blink. Didn't move. "I need to come inside." I backed away, fumbling for my keys, hands trembling so badly I nearly dropped them. She took a step forward. "I won't hurt you." Another step. "I just need to come inside." I finally got my door open and stumbled inside, slamming it shut and locking it in one motion. I pressed my back against the door, heart hammering, listening for any sound in the hallway. Silence. Then. A knock. Soft. Slow. 3 taps. "Let me in." I didn't answer. Another knock. "Let me in." I stayed frozen, phone in hand, debating whether to call the police or just wait her out. The knocking stopped. I stood there for what felt like hours, too scared to move, too scared to look through the peephole. Eventually, I crept to the door and pressed my ear against it. Nothing. I opened it just a crack, peeking into the hallway. She was gone. The hallway was empty. Silent. Like she'd never been there at all. I moved out 2 months later. And I've never lived above the 2nd floor since. If you've ever experienced something you still can't explain, in the woods, on an empty road, or in a place that felt wrong, share it in the comments. Your experience may become the next entry in the Dark Index. Or it may already be written there. This was the summer of 2018. I was with 3 friends, Mike, Josh, and Sarah, camping in the Allegheny National Forest in Pennsylvania. We'd done this trip a dozen times before. Same spot. Same routine. Set up camp, drink a few beers, tell stupid stories around the fire. We got there Friday afternoon, set up the tents, and spent the evening grilling burgers and talking shit. By 11 p.m., we were all pretty tired, so we decided to call it a night. I was in my tent, just starting to drift off, when I heard footsteps outside. Not animal footsteps. Human footsteps. Slow. Deliberate. I sat up. "Mike?" I called out. No answer. I unzipped my tent and looked outside. Standing at the edge of our campsite, just beyond the firelight, were 2 kids. A boy and a girl. Maybe 9 or 10. Wearing dark clothes. Staring at us. I blinked, confused. "Hey," I said. "You guys lost?" They didn't respond. Just stood there, completely still. Mike poked his head out of his tent. "Who the hell is that?" "I don't know," I said. "They just showed up." Sarah and Josh came out of their tents too, both looking confused and a little freaked out. The boy took a step forward. "We need help." His voice was flat. Emotionless. "What kind of help?" Mike asked. "We need to come with you." Sarah frowned. "Come with us where?" "To your tent." We all exchanged glances. Something about this felt wrong. Really wrong. "Where are your parents?" I asked. The girl spoke this time. Same flat tone. We need to come with you. Josh stepped forward, holding up his phone. I'm calling the Rangers. The boy tilted his head. Don't. Josh stopped. His hand was shaking. Why not? We won't hurt you. We just need to come with you. Mike grabbed a flashlight and shone it directly at them. That's when we saw their eyes. Completely black. Both of them. No whites. No pupils. Just solid, reflectionless black. Sarah gasped and backed up. What the fuck? The kids didn't react to the light. They just stood there, staring at us with those empty, black eyes. We need to come with you, the boy repeated. Mike's voice was shaking now. Get the fuck out of here. They didn't move. Josh grabbed his car keys. We're leaving. Now. We packed up our shit in record time, throwing everything into the car without even taking down the tents. The whole time, those two kids just stood there, watching us. Not moving. Not blinking. As we pulled out of the campsite, I looked back one last time. They were still standing there. Staring. We didn't talk the whole drive home. None of us have been camping since. I was on a road trip through Nevada in early 2017, driving from Las Vegas to Reno. Middle of nowhere. Empty desert. Miles between towns. Around midnight, I pulled into a small motel off the highway. One of those old, run-down places with a neon sign that barely worked and a front desk that smelled like stale coffee and cigarettes. The clerk was a woman in her 50s, chain-smoking and watching a black and white TV behind the counter. She handed me a key without saying a word. My room was on the second floor, at the far end of the building. Small. Dingy. A bed, a TV, and a bathroom with a shower that looked like it hadn't been cleaned in months. I didn't care. I was exhausted. I threw my bag on the bed, kicked off my shoes, and lay down. I was just starting to doze off when I heard it. A knock. I sat up, confused. Who the hell would be knocking on my door at this hour? I walked over to the peephole and looked out. Two kids. A boy and a girl. Standing in the hallway. Staring directly at the door. I frowned. Yeah. I called through the door. The boy spoke. His voice was quiet. Flat. We need to come inside. I hesitated. Are you lost? We need to come inside. Something about his tone made my skin crawl. Where are your parents? No answer. The girl spoke this time. Same tone. Same flatness. We won't hurt you. We just need to come inside. I backed away from the door. I can't help you. Go to the front desk. Silence. Then another knock. Slower this time. Let us in. I didn't respond. I grabbed my phone and opened the camera, holding it up to the peephole. That's when I saw their eyes. Completely black. I stumbled backward, heart pounding. The knocking continued. Slow. Rhythmic. Almost hypnotic. Let us in. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in the chair by the window, staring at the door, waiting for them to leave. By morning, they were gone. I checked out without asking questions. And I've never stayed in a motel alone since. This happened in March of 2015. I was a high school teacher in a small town in Ohio, and I'd stayed late after school to grade papers. It was around 8 p.m. when I finally finished and headed out to my car. The parking lot was empty. Dark. just a few overhead lights flickering in the wind. As I walked toward my car, I saw them. 2 kids. Standing near the back of the lot, just outside the reach of the lights. Maybe 10 years old. Both wearing dark hoodies. I stopped. "Hey," I called out. "You guys need help?" They didn't respond. Just stood there, staring at me. I walked closer, thinking maybe they were students waiting for a ride. "Are your parents coming?" The boy stepped forward. "We need a ride." His voice was flat. Emotionless. I frowned. "Where do you live?" "We need a ride." Something about the way he said it made me uneasy. "I can't just give you a ride. I don't know you." The girl spoke. Same tone. Same flatness. "We won't hurt you. We just need a ride." I backed toward my car. "I'm calling someone to help you." The boy tilted his head. "Don't." I fumbled for my keys, hands shaking. "We just need a ride." I got in my car and locked the doors. They didn't move. Just stood there, staring at me through the windshield. I started the engine and backed out of the parking lot, but as I drove away, I looked in the rearview mirror. They were still standing there. Watching. I quit that job 3 months later. This is the one that still keeps me up at night. It was late 2020. I was living in a small house on Pine Street in a quiet suburb outside of Portland. Nice neighborhood. Safe. Nothing ever happened there. One night, around midnight, I was in my living room watching TV when I heard a knock at the front door. I looked through the peephole. 2 kids. A boy and a girl. Standing on my porch. Staring at the door. I cracked it open. "Can I help you?" The boy spoke. His voice was quiet. Flat. "We need to come inside." I frowned. "Where are your parents?" "We need to come inside." Something about his tone made my stomach turn. "No. Go home." I closed the door. The knocking continued. Slow. Rhythmic. "Let us in." I ignored it. But the knocking didn't stop. It went on for hours. And when I finally looked through the peephole again, their eyes were black. Completely black. I moved the next week. And I've never looked back. 7 encounters. 7 people who saw the same thing. Black eyes. Flat voices. The same request. "We need to come inside." They never explain why. They never say who they are. They just stand there, waiting. Patient. Persistent. And the ones who refuse to let them in. They're still here to tell the story. The ones who didn't. We don't know. Remember this, not everything that calls out to you wants you to come back. Follow the dark index for more accounts pulled from places that don't show up on maps, and don't always let people leave unchanged.